Hi, my name's Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBiz, and I'm really excited because this is the first episode of the Network Connections podcast, and it's my great privilege to welcome Christine Tuisku from Nutrition for Mind and Body. Welcome, Christine.
Oh, thank you, Jürgen. It's fun to be doing this.
Yeah, and we'll see how we go.
Yes, we will.
Before we talk about the business and nutrition for mind and body, tell us a little bit about yourself. What did you want to do when you were a child?
Well, I grew up on a farm, so my great ambition was to have a dog farm with every different type of dog.
Okay.
So I obviously didn't know anything about interbreeding then. So.
All right. Separate pens.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what was your journey then from the farm to a business owner?
Oh, yes. Well, I started out teaching, doing primary school teaching when I left school. And I guess that's been the theme of my life really, has been learning and teaching, because even though I've did the teaching and we've had our own business in electronics and now the health, it's still about learning for me and teaching, helping other people, inspiring other people. So, yeah, it's interesting. I did travel overseas for 18 months on my own after teaching, and that was a great experience because that was my real education.
Yeah.
So, that was sort of taught me resilience and self-sufficiency, really.
And it opened your eyes to the world outside the farm.
Absolutely. It did.
Yeah. So how did Nutrition for Mind and Body come about?
Well, it's always been a passion for me. My mother had worked in a sanitarium health food shop in Geelong, actually, when she was young.
Right.
So we were not allowed to have green or red isopoles in the 60s, or soft drink. We had to have fruit, not lollies. So it has been sort of an underlying sort of theme in my life. So doing the nutrition course was something I did in my later years when I was 50. And, just sort of grew out of that interest and that passion, really. Just wanting to know things for myself and then just helping other people.
And then you decided it was a good business to pursue.
Yeah. Well, it's when you get older, the business comes from passion, really, the things you're interested in. So that was my passion and still is. So.
Great. So what's your elevator pitch? Describe what you do in a sentence.
Oh, that's my elevator pitch. I guess it is about helping other people, and it is again that theme about learning. And did have a elevator pitch written down. I can just look on here and I can tell you what it was. Yes. I do like to talk about the health detective, which is a little bit of a thing that I use to explain what I do. So it's a health detective is looking for the causes and then doing forensics to do some tests and then come up with the usual suspects, which it often is, and then deal with them, put them away or get rid of them. So that's my elevator pitch.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I like the health detective one. Yeah. And now, what do you spend most of your time doing day to day in the business?
It still is, there's a lot of research. So when people come in with conditions, I actually do a lot of research. You need to do that for yourself, and because there's just new developments all the time with diseases. So I think as far as the business goes, that's what I do. At the moment, we're setting up the website, so we're doing a bit of work on that, just online selling of the supplements. So, yeah. That's with the business. That's what mainly I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay. And what things keep you awake at night? What do you worry about?
Yes. I think it's the same with everybody. It's if there's problems with the children, patients. I will wake up at 3 a.m. But it's problem solving again. It's trying to think, what will I do? How will I do it? It's not just sort of just anxiety. It's just trying to work things out, but it's the wrong time to be doing it at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. That's usually when the unconscious mind gets a hold of an idea and thinks, okay, what can I do with that one?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So if you could wave a magic wand and fix something in your business right now, what would it be?
I think it would be getting a handle on the social media. That's the weak area, I think, for us. And being older, it's just something that the young people do just naturally, and young people in business. And it's something that, for me, that I really have to learn. So, yeah, that's it at the moment.
So using the social media to market your business and get the message out. Yeah.
Well, and it's also just a great thing for education because, the terrific thing about my job is I can just give lots of free information about health and well-being, and then, suggest supplements occasionally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the challenge at the moment.
So have you read any good books recently?
Yeah, I'm always reading.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm reading a book called Weight Loss for Food Lovers. So it's actually interesting because it's a doctor in Australia, and he's talking about how difficult weight loss is because we sabotage our own weight loss if we feel deprived. So he really suggests that we choose one or two of our really foods that we just love and we can't live without, and that you incorporate that into your weight loss plan and eat them. But then you take out all the other unhealthy sort of foods that you're actually not really hooked on, that you don't really desperately need. So you just choose a couple and then you make sure you have those, and then you don't feel so deprived when you're, eating weight management foods. It's terrific. I try and learn more about weight loss because it's really tricky because the failure rate's so high for weight returning. So,
the old yo-yo effect, right?
Yo-yo, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 90% of people put the weight back on. So he says he can get down to 80%, so that's something to aspire to for me. But anyway.
Okay. So what are you currently working on?
Well, we're working on the website. That's, the same thing, and the social media. So that's the thing that we're really working hard on at the moment. But I guess because we've only been here a year, we're working on getting more clients, getting more patients too, and just, so that's where the BNI comes in, and just talking to people, gym owners around where I live and things like that.
So still establishing the business and building a presence and getting known.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so what's so let's get into the referral round, which is where we learn about your ideal referrals. So what's a good bread and butter referral for you?
Well, my bread and butter referrals would be just for people who have a health problem, like they've just learnt they've got high cholesterol, or the teenagers with acne, or just people that have got a health issue that they want to have addressed. And that's when you hear people complaining about, or the mothers worrying about their son with the pimples, or the people complaining about bloating or something. I think that's the bread and butter, just the general.
Okay, and how do you help them?
Well, again, it's the old health detective, I guess, because there's usual things like for teenage boys with the pimples, it often is zinc deficiency, because they're just prone to zinc deficiency in the teenage years, and the high glycemic diet. So it's too many sugars, and that increases the testosterone and increases the sebum in the skin, which increases the pimples. So, that's sort of the known protocol, and there's lots of research on that. And I have a manual, little book that I give them. And so there's things like that are quite easy, where there's a set protocol. But other things, it's more individualised when you actually have to talk to the person and really find out what the thing is for them that's causing the problem.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. And so what's a cream referral then?
The cream. Well, that would be, I guess, the weight loss, which is more where the people are needing to come in for longer, for a long-term treatment. I see people weekly, but initially anyway, and then maybe span out to 2 weeks. So, that would be a bigger sort of client protocol. And then just to, go on to the next question, you're going to ask me about my referral. That's the gene testing, the genetic profiling, because that's my passion too. That's the thing I just love the most, because it's about preventing disease. It's not just trying to fix it up after 50 years of bad habits. So the gene testing, that's just a way of the future. And that's just personalised, because with the profiling, there are certain even vitamins or minerals that the genes show that person will not be synthesizing well, that they're just always going to be low in, and they're the things you need to give for supplements. But other things they might be quite, normal in their, the B vitamins or whatever. So they don't actually have to take some things, but they will need to take other things, and that's what the genes will tell you.
Okay, so how do you go about a gene test then?
Well, a gene profiling is just saliva. Like, it's about 1 teaspoon of saliva in a little tube that's sent off to the lab, and I get back a 96-page report, which I give to the client. But that's all very proactive. So it'll list all the genes that the person has that are good and bad, faulty or not. They're called polymorphisms if they're faulty. And then from that, you can see what diet, the foods the person needs to eat, whether it's higher fat or lower fat. For example, some people have high cholesterol because they don't have enough fat, don't have enough olive oil in their diet. So and then some 25% of the people who've got cholesterol problems actually have to have a very low fat diet and no alcohol and fibre, and fish oils and things like that to help their cholesterol. So it's a really individual thing. You just can't tell just by looking at a cholesterol test what the person needs.
Okay, and does that gene test predict things like, propensity to cancer and other diseases like that?
List your predisposition to certain diseases, but it will show, for example, with cancer, whether your liver's not processing and removing toxins well, or women, estrogen. So women have good and bad estrogen, the same like just cholesterol. So some women's livers are not processing the bad cholesterol well, and then that's building up, and then that's called prolific estrogen. Makes cells proliferate, and that's what cancer is. So on the gene testing, there are 2 or 3 indicators that I can see that would increase someone's risk of breast cancer. Okay. But that doesn't mean they're going to get breast cancer. It just means that you need to address those issues that the genes are suggesting, and then that would reduce their risk. Yeah,
and a lot of that can be done by diet, which you then put together based on the testing.
Exactly. So it's personalised and individualised. That's the big difference. And I think in the future, perhaps not in our lifetime, young people will be tested genetically when they're born, and that will just establish sort of the diets or the sort of things they should do or avoid. For example, some people have more antioxidants. Our cells produce antioxidants, and some people have more antioxidants than others. So 2 people can smoke, and one person with the low antioxidants might develop lung cancer, where the other person with the high natural antioxidants will not get lung cancer. And they've done research on this. They've had 2 people tested their genes, and then seen after they've smoked for 30 years why they didn't get lung cancer. So this is interesting.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. So how do we recognise those ideal referrals then?
Yes, that's right. That's a difficult one. I guess because the young people know they're invincible, they're never going to get any diseases or health conditions. You can't really talk to them about it unless they're a little bit anxious about their health. But the main people for referrals are older people who are starting to get health conditions and a bit more concerned. I think the demographic is called the worried wealthy. But the gene testing is like $600. It's not exorbitant, but still, some people still get shocked when I tell them how much it is. So, so that's sort of, for referrals, I think it would be, the people getting onto 50 or so, a little bit concerned and want to get more targeted information. Precise information about their disease risk.
Great, So what's different and unique then about your business?
What's different? Well, because it's a service industry, it relies really on my service. And I think I was thinking about this. I think my strength in my business is that I do connect well with people, and I think that is from my country background, where people in the country just do tend to connect more in the community. Because when I work with people, I really work as a team. So we're both working together to solve the problems, and to solve the problems really of that person's health. So yeah, and the caring. I think that's it's just having old-fashioned values really about being with people and doing your best for someone. So it all ties in quite well that I'm in the health industry, really.
Okay. So who's in your network that we might want to know?
Yes, well, I did think about that as well, because we've been here for a year, and my network is growing, and I think working in the gyms, but wherever you are, there are people with problems, and someone. You can always suggest someone to solve that problem, whether it's a mortgage broker or, just someone at the gym, a personal trainer, or a website designer.
All right. So what's the future for you then, and for Nutrition for Mind and Body?
I think the future for us is, because we are getting on to retirement, is setting up our online marketing and the social networking and things like that, so we can do more things online, and as well as the face-to-face, which is important. But I think that's where we're hoping to go.
Okay.
Direction.
Yeah. And where do you see the nutrition and weight loss industry heading?
Well, it's a booming business, but there's a lot of competition, so... Yeah, I'd like to keep working on that. I actually feel really passionate about weight loss, because when you lose weight, it makes a huge difference. When you have a lot of fat in your body, it increases inflammation, increases toxins, because the toxins are held in the fat. So all those things increases diabetes because of the type of fat in the stomach fat. So when you lose weight, you reduce your risk for all diseases, and that's what I love about it. It's not just looking better or slimmer. It's really... And the quality of your life too, because you don't want to be old and in a nursing home and really overweight.
Yeah.
Well, it is a real factor now that it makes your life much harder. So yeah, that's the future.
Okay. All right. So what's the number one piece of advice you'd give any small business who wants to grow and get more word of mouth referrals?
Oh, Jürgen, that's a hard one. Is the advice? I don't know. I guess it is just getting out there into the world. You just can't sit in your office and wait for someone to come knocking at your door. You've got to get out and really, talk to people, and whether it's on the internet or face to face. And I think like the BNI and networks and community groups, I think that is the way. Okay. That's the advice.
Great. Thanks for that. So where can people reach out to connect with you then, Christine?
Oh, well, I'm in Barwon Heads, and people can ring me. Or on my website, Nutrition for Mind and Body. It's www.nfmb, which is nutritionformindandbody.com.au. But have a look at the website. That would be really the first place, because then they can just read up and have a look at what we do and how I do it, and and then give me a call. I'm always up for a chat.
That's great. Yeah, and of course, for those people listening to this podcast, you can meet Christine in person by coming along to our Network Connections chapter meetings every Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Wool Exchange Entertainment Complex. That's right, isn't it?
That's right.
And you can find out more details about that at the chapter website, bninetworkgeelong.com.au. So it's been a great pleasure, Christine. Thanks for that today, and thank you for being the first interviewee on the Network Connections podcast.
It was great fun. Thank you, Jürgen.
Thanks, Christine. Bye-bye.